Ladies and gents, it's Preacher with a voice feeling slightly better, and I'm excited, and I mean that genuinely excited, to bring you the Survival Hunter for Warlords of Draenor. Oh baby, thank you Bliss, thank you so much, I love you man, you can be with me forever. And I mean that, I genuinely fucking mean that. Why? Because Survival's fun to play. Oh yeah, it is, it absolutely is, oh my god. Oh, thank you. Survival's had a tumultuous time over Warlords of Draenor's alpha and beta. It's had 5 stacks of lock and load, so your explosive shot don't mean shit. It just sits there and you can fire them off whenever you want. It's supposed to be fun. It's explosive shot, man. It's supposed to be good. And it wasn't. It wasn't. It just sat there like, you can shoot me whenever you want. It's okay. Woo. But now, they just, they reverted it back to how it was. So lock and load gives you 2 shots, and basically it gives you 3 because it resets it, right? They changed it back. They were like, you know what? This isn't working. Let's change it back. So what else is exciting? What makes it different? Is it just because it's like MOP? Is it just because it's the MOP Survival Hunter? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's actually the work they've done with Serpent Sting I find particularly cool. The talents, of course, remain pretty much the same across all the Hunter specs, so you'll know about them, and we'll do them in our summary video. We're going to do like a 4th video on the Hunters, summarising the thoughts that I've had about them over the course of Warlords of Draenor, as they've had such a bad rap, and rightfully so, in many places. Survival has decided, or what Blizzard's decided to do, is actually roll Serpent Sting into Arcane Shot. Yeah, that's what they've done. It's such a simple, sweet, baby little change. It's such a little tiny thing, but God, it's fun. It's so much better. Why? Because it's something for us to manage. The difference is, in Warlords of Draenor, we don't have amples and fucking mountains of focus to just throw away. I went back to my Hunter on live and played it, and I was like, God, I've got so much fucking focus. I have more focus than I know what to do with here. This is crazy. I can spam away all my abilities. What Blizzard's decided to do is say, you know what? What we should do is, we kind of want to keep Serpent Sting. But it was boring the way it was. They just applied it and then they used their Cobra shot to just refresh it. And that's not fun because you're not having to think about it. And as long as you're attacking the target, you're likely to be using a Cobra shot. Therefore, Serpent Sting is kind of irrelevant. But we don't really want them spamming Arcane Shot either. So we're going to make Arcane Shot pretty expensive so you can't spam it. On top of that, everything else is pretty expensive. Explosive Shot's pretty expensive. We're going to make things like Barrage pretty expensive and worthwhile as well if they use it right. That's a good idea, right? Nothing wrong with that. We've got life abilities that are both expensive and need some coordination in order to use right. That's cool. Let's throw this in the mix. Let's throw in a Serpent Sting that's tied to Arcane Shot. Whenever they use an Arcane Shot, it's going to give Serpent Sting as well. Now, you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, that's fucking easy. Yeah, in a MOP world, that's easy. In Warlords of Draenor, you don't have that extra focus, and of course, Arcane Shot is now reasonably expensive to just throw away, especially if you want to make good use of everything else. Your Black Arrow, you want to make good use of Explosive Shot, obviously, and things like Barrage and Glaive Toss or whatever it is that you use. God, this works so nicely. Survival has a flow now, and it has a nice way of just saying, keep an eye on Serpent Sting. And the beauty of it is, and I think this is genuinely the true beauty, is that Serpent Sting is obviously a DPS increase, but it's not enormous. And that's so good. It's more important to use your explosive shots. It's more important to use your Black Arrow. It's more important to use your talented abilities. But if you want to do really well, you're going to manage Serpent Sting really well. And where people who are trying to get to grips with this are going to come unstuck is firing off too many arcane shots. That's they're going to fuck you up elsewhere. And that's what makes it fun. This is something to be managed and learned. It'd probably come easier over the course of the expansion with more gear, more haste, more focus in general. But when you're kicking out, this is where it's really going to pay off for you. Are you good enough to make the correct decisions so that these other abilities aren't left off cooldown? Because if they're sitting there, you've done it wrong. And it's always been a key factor of the Hunter is to make sure that you use your abilities on time and have the resources, e.g. the focus, in order to use them correctly. But now you've got this extra little tidbit. And it'll only come out about 10% of your damage, but 10% is right where Blizz wants it to be. They want people to be within 90% of their threshold. Doing it correctly, it yields such good rewards. And it's a consistent factor throughout the fights. Playing Survival has been a joy. Of course, you still have Serpent Sting being applied by multi-shot, which is way more expensive than Arcane Shot, and that's the way it should be, which means your AoE is still very, very fucking solid. Very nice. And you've just got to keep your Serpent Sting up and do all your usual stuff with your multi-shots. That's all keeping as it was. And I don't think most hunters will complain about that. Survival has been a pretty great spell, a great spec since its inception and since it came to prominence around about Cataclysm time. And it's really nice to see it in Warlords of Draenor. All it took was we had dramatic changes. They came in. We had huge changes to our resources and to how lock and load was going to work and all this and that. And then ultimately Blizzard was like, let's just switch this around a little bit. Let's just make this work. And then it's like, it flows, it works together. There's a rhythm to the spec. And there's choices to be made, decisions to be made. And that's what I think we should all be thankful for. Survival's looking really good. It's definitely what I consider to be the saving grace of hunters in Warlords of Draenor. I would like to have seen it expanded to the other specs. Go look at BM next so you can see how I feel about that. All right, guys. Survival looking solid. Thank you so much, Blizz. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.